Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to some more fresh Phoibos. Relatively hot on the heels of their PY007, their Rolex Submariner clone update, we have another brand new model, the Eagle Ray. Brand new but not cheap. At $359 US, this is Phoibos' most expensive model to date and a far cry from the $99 Submariner homages that I started reviewing at the beginning of last year. Original it may be, but can this new Eagle Ray justify its price tag? Let's flip the camera and find out. Well, that's the question I have to answer today then, isn't it? Can this Phoibos justify its $359 US price tag? But within that, there is also a question for you. Are you prepared to cough up $359 on a Phoibos? Is the brand sufficiently mature that you're prepared to pay over $300 for one of those octopuses on the dial? Once a brand pushes up over the $300 US price point, they are in shark-infested waters. The biggest shark in those waters is the Swatch Group. There are numerous Hamiltons, Tissots and Certinas all vying for your cash between $300 and $400, all of them with Swiss made on the dial, many of them containing ETA, Swiss made automatic movements. Can Phoibos compete at this price point? I think it was the last Phoibos that I reviewed that I said if they pushed up much more in price they would have to look at their packaging, and thankfully they have. This one coming in a new PU leatherette travel pouchy. These are rapidly becoming my watch packaging of choice. So much nicer than a standard box, so much more useful than a standard box as well. Plenty of protection available when the watch is in transit. You can also usefully store and carry a couple of these with you if you're taking the watch out and about. A definite improvement then over the old packaging which has been with them now for a couple of years. So once you get into the box, what do you find? Well, you find the usual 30-day return to base warranty card, and you find the usual 2-year warranty on an automatic. You're buying these ones direct from Phoibos, either from their China warehouse or from the USA warehouse. This Eagle Ray also comes with a couple of straps as part of the package. Now it actually came supplied on this one, the Crazy Horse leather strap. Not sure what was crazy about the horse, but I swiftly got rid of that one and put it on this Tropic rubber, and I'll tell you the reasons for that as we go. So 41 millimeters in diameter, and it wears like a 41 as well, thanks to just over 13 millimeters thickness and 47 mil lug tip to lug tip, 20 millimeters lug width, and on this Tropic strap, which is supplied obviously, weighing in at a smidge under 100 grams. So a very nice set of dimensions, a little bit larger than the subby clones at 40 mil, but nothing too enormous on wrist. 316L stainless steel case, crown and bezel. We have got a piece of double domed sapphire crystal with triple layer of anti-reflective coating on the underside, and we've got a lovely glossy ceramic bezel insert on this one as well. Now I will rotate the bezel. I would say that was a kind of sawtooth bezel, 120 click unidirectional, no backplay, locks in very nicely also. And there is a look at the edge of the bezel. I must say, very, very nice finishing on the case. Mostly brushed. We've got kind of lateral brushing on the case, the side of the case, and on those lugs. Almost like a bead blasted finish on the bezel and the crown. And you've got a little polished chamfered edge, but very, very high quality finishing on the case. The crown, surprisingly, doesn't feature the Phoibos octopus. Kind of brittle star looking thing on there, just a kind of scythe pattern, again mimicking the sawtooth effect of the bezel. Just a little bit of a surprise though, given how many octopuses they splattered all over the 007, not to find one there. You do find one on the back of the case though. This should look familiar if you've seen a Phoibos before. 300 meters of water resistance, a sapphire crystal screw down crown, screw down case back, all stainless steel construction obviously. You may also have noticed the nice smooth sweep of the second hand there, that coming from the Miyota 9015 movement that is powering this one. I'm a big fan of the 9015, Hacks hand winds, 42-hour power reserve, proper made in Japan 4K high beat 28,800 vibrations per hour, leading to a very smooth 8 ticks per second as noted. Now they only wind unidirectionally, so you can feel and hear the Miyota in a way that you perhaps don't get the same sensation from an NH35, but they're pretty solid, pretty accurate I found. This one seems to be settling in nicely in the boxes, heading down to, looks like it's going to be a consistent +5, so a pretty good choice of movement and a distinct step up. These ones cost more than NH35s. That certainly justifies a little bit of the price increase of this Eagle Ray over, for example, the Reefmaster. Let's have a look at the straps then. Nothing wrong with this Crazy Horse one as such, it's just a little bit dull. Phoibos embossed, the octopus embossed on the underside, reasonable thickness, reasonable stitching, nicely finished. And the Phoibos, the old school block capital Phoibos on a brushed buckle. But I much prefer this one on the Tropic strap. It is a 300-meter dive watch after all. Tropics all the rage at the moment, and it's easy to see why. They're comfortable. This one looks like it's a generic one, 20mm Tropique there on the underside, but it also comes supplied with the Phoibos buckle and tang. Zooming in on the dial, you can see the King Octopus printed there in white underneath the 12 o'clock double index, and 300 meters automatic again printed on the dial just above the 6 o'clock, or at least where the 6 o'clock index should be. Nice choice, I think. A very subtly integrated black date wheel. Good choice by Phoibos there. And we've got applied indices. Nice little gilt indices on this model. Couple of different colorways available. I chose this one. I think the black and gold lending this one a bit of a vintage appeal, which is very much my thing at the moment. And it is a big handset on this one. Big rectangular hour hand with a little syringe tip reaching all the way out to the hour markers, and the minute hand reaching all the way out to the minute track, just skimming the top of the hour marker there. So, and plenty of loom on those hands. I will put up the loom video now. A big improvement, this one. Old radium style C3, loads and loads of it on the hands, lots on the bezel. Perhaps the hand and the bezel insert have more loom than the indices, but you can't complain about that. Plenty of loom and lasts a good duration of time. Again, that old radium colour very much in keeping with this particular gilt toned model anyway. How does it wear then? Very nicely. As noted, 41 that wears like a 41, 47mm lug tip to lug tip. This is it sitting on top of my 7-inch wrist, done up nice and tight on that Tropic rubber strap. I think this one, glossy sapphire, that dome crystal, giving us a kind of luxurious look to it. Looks great out in the sunshine, as you'll see a little later on as well. And zoomed out there for a little perspective, that glossy bezel catching my studio lighting nicely. Very nicely finished case, as noted earlier. Very nicely done indeed by Phoibos. Now, I'm not going to bother putting it on the rather dull Crazy Horse strap, but there it is on my trusty Coloreb Spoleto in rust brown. I think those rusty brown tones really complementing the gilt indices, gilt hands, and that C3 Super Luminova old radium filling that the hands and the indices have. So if you want to take the look of this modern styling back a notch, back a couple of years, one of these rustic style brown straps may be the way to go. Back on the Tropic and out in the real world, that shiny glossy high sheen ceramic bezel nicely integrated with the slightly domed sapphire crystal, giving a kind of smooth curve to the overall look of the watch. Sits very nicely on my 7-inch wrist. I'm sure this one would suit a fair variety of wrists because of that relatively short lug to lug. Do like the gold, just adds a touch of colour on what is otherwise a fairly plain dial. No sunburst, it's a kind of matte black dial, so those gold indices I think add a little bit of pop to a flat dial. Moans and niggles, what am I going to complain about today? Well, not much then. There's not much about this watch to dislike and quite a lot to like. I do like the overall styling. The crown, maybe just a little bit small. I would have liked to have seen that just protruding a little bit, and perhaps they could have even stuck a crown tube on there. That would have been something new, probably something more expensive for Phoibos as well, but I think it would have complemented the overall look of the watch. And as noted, the crazy horse strap, nothing really crazy about it, a little bit dull. They could have put something more interesting on it out the box, I'm sure. Really, my only other moan is about the price. $359 for a Miyota 9015 powered watch that doesn't come on a bracelet isn't all that spectacular a price, especially when you consider that Phoibos already sells a very nicely made watch with ceramic bezel, sapphire crystal, a Miyota 9015 and full stainless steel bracelet for $299. $60, a not inconsiderable chunk of change if you were to opt for the 007 rather than this new Eagle Ray. So have I even answered my question then? Does this watch justify its $359 price tag? Well, it is certainly not the most expensive watch that I've looked at with this set of specs, and I've looked at stuff that doesn't match this one on specs for more money. So I guess from that point of view, it does justify its $359 tag. However, the Eagle Ray just has not lit a fire in my belly in the way that some of Phoibos' other models have, in a way that I just can't quite put my finger on. So what about your question then? Are you prepared to spend $359 on a Phoibos? Is there enough cachet in what is still a relatively young brand for you to push over that $299 barrier that had previously been Phoibos' glass ceiling? Leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts. So there you have it then, the Phoibos Eagle Ray. Arguably the best Phoibos to date, certainly the most expensive Phoibos to date, but I would imagine that that will change. You can see Phoibos' trajectory, each model gradually getting better and better, I would say, and also gradually getting more and more expensive. Let's see if they can continue justifying those price tags. I think this is a handsome watch, not so sure about the leather strap, but if you regard the leather strap being a bit of a bonus and treat this one on a tropic or perhaps one of those vintage style collar ebbs like I showed you, this is one handsome and well made watch. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.